I was very excited when I found out Tom animated one of my favorite characters in maybe in lots of 2D animated movies. Tom is responsible for most of the cool Mushu shots in the movie, and it's not like 3D animation. You actually help with the design process, I believe. How does that is that true? To what extent is that true?
Yeah, and well, it's completely true in this case. 2D animation, the way it works, or at least did, they'll have like visual development artists come in, and you know what? I'm going to show some examples. So I'm glad you asked. They have Viz Dev guys come in early on, and they'll start doing like rough designs of characters and stuff, and kind of get the ball rolling and get the directors. It's mostly for the directors to kind of get an idea of what they want, and
Yeah.
because the scripts are evolving at that point, so there's a lot of flexibility, and so also, and then the story, and it's also something for the storyboard guys to start using as a rough design, so they can start that ball rolling too. So I'm going to
Yeah.
show you a little bit. This is one of the things that we started off with for Mulan, and you'll notice back then it was called Fa Mulan, and then it became The Legend of Mulan, and then it just became Mulan. But this was done by Chin Yi Chang, and he was our, I don't know if his title was art director, but it was definitely like a character design guru. And one, he was Asian, and he brought a lot of that influence. He knew the design sensibilities of China, and then but also he's just a really good cartoony guy. He came through and he just said, "Okay, I'm going to design all the characters in a real rough, shape-oriented kind of thing." And some of these characters got these are all the main characters, so they were all still in the show. But you can see there's Mushu, the dragon, because I'm not even sure Mushu had his name yet. I'm not sure. This was by a guy called Chris Williams, and great storyboard guy. As you can see, his Mushu was really kind of angular. And here's some more of his. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is Chris Williams too. And the directors really liked the kind of craziness of this early on. I missed some of the color stuff that Chris did. We didn't get into the final. I really wanted to do some real exotic colors, like see his red horns here. And this was, I think, the only drawing Chin Yi Chang ever did of Mushu for me. It's probably more for the directors than for me, but as you can see, it's of Mushu and Shen Yu, and Mushu's huge for some reason. This is Chris Sanders' version of Mushu. So anyway, I started getting on the picture. So this is my drawing. This is one of many crazy versions of Mushu that I did early on. And at first the directors are pointing me every which way. They're like, well, we kind of like the tail on this drawing that Chris did. I'm just going to throw things up as I'm talking. But to kind of get back to your question, Dave, the answer is yes. The supervising animator tended to come onto the film with some stuff, with baggage, good baggage of other artists that have done drawings. But your job as supervising animator was really to kind of make the final design. And in some cases, that's just slight refinements because there's a character designer or a biz dev guy that really kind of nailed it early on. But in some cases, like mine, all we knew was he was going to be skinny and have horns, and we liked the long muzzle. But from there was 100 different variations to kind of come up with, and that's what I started doing, is just doing one variation after another. And literally, I worked on designing Mushu for about 6 months. It was kind of crazy because it was almost too much time, and because I think I went around in circles for a while. Some of these, I still like elements of, and I certainly like how pushed he is. It's just he's so pushed, he didn't look like the other characters. So in the end, the Mushu we ended up with, I think, blends in a little better with the other characters. And, like this guy on Milan's shoulder would have been really odd, I think. You can see the date there, 95. So I was on it really early. And as a matter of fact, they were, at one point there was going to be two Mushus. It was going to be called Yin and Yang, and there were going to be two dragons. And, you know, it was before he was called Mushu and before he had a voice or anything like that. And then Yin and Yang were going to come together at the end and become one dragon, which it had some neat ideas. There we go. So you can kind of see there was a large, that first 6 months almost was me just trying to get close, you know, and then the second 6 months was very small refinements of his design, and then also doing lots of animation tests. Here we go. So like this was an early model sheet of Mushu. So this was really the Mushu that's in the movie, close to what was in the movie at least. These aren't poses that are in the film. They were ones that I did on early model sheets just to kind of figure out how to draw them. But then this was cleaned up so that we did use this at the very beginning of the production.